Right, let's see. The Merchants Guild is over here. Let's go here. Oh, you have a nice coat of arms at least.
The Merchants Guild was the youngest of the Ankh-Morpork guilds, founded in self-defense by the city's traders and shopkeepers when they realized their role in the grand scheme of things was to be robbed. Robbing fat merchants, it seemed, was a perfectly socially acceptable, even heroic thing to do.
Brilliant.
Consequently, they weren't the friendliest of guilds either. I wasn't holding out much hope that they'd help me.
Oh, someone's answered the door at least.
Evening.
Usually is when the sun sets.
Is everyone in this
Snarky.
city a smart aleck?
Who's he?
He used to be a regular at the Mended Drum. He made a reputation as a know-it-all.
Used to be?
The Mended Drum is a bad place to use the phrase, no.
Where did they find his body?
The Shades. And the Diesel Gate. His kidney down a well in Dolly's sister's, I think. Bits of his innards all over the place. Sounds like he had a lot of guts.
Who are you?
So how did you end up working on the door?
Who? There's only so many good positions to go around.
I take it this isn't one of them.
Oh, it's not that bad. I get to hear all the interesting news with this job.
And has anything interesting
news.
happened recently?
Oh, yes.
Such as?
We got a new kettle. Much nicer than the one with the leak that we used to use.
You boiled water in a kettle with a hole?
Well, we made a lot of steam anyway. It wouldn't stay in the cups, though.
And that's the most exciting thing that's happened here.
Oh, exciting. If you want exciting, you should see the new colour scheme in the coin shaving room.
Oh, dear.
Come on. Someone was murdered. Wasn't that exciting?
Oh, sure.
Why didn't you mention that?
A guild policy. We're not to discuss the incident with outsiders.
Okay.
Well, goodbye for now.
No, wrong button. Sorry. No, go back there. Talk to him.
I doubled
pressed the wrong
back on
button.
myself, trying to get a good look at the dwarf who was following me.
Go away,
It
Alkali.
was Alkali.
Of course it was.
I slipped away into the streets before he realized I'd spotted him.
Right, let's try this again.
Mind if I ask some more questions?
As long as they're not about the incident, be my guest.
So how did you end up...
Right.
There's
I'll
only...
skip through this lot again.
I get...
And
Oh, we got it.
you...
Well, we made... It wouldn't... Oh, if you...
Come on, someone wasn't...
Oh, sure.
Why didn't...
A guild policy. We're not to...
Right, sorry about that, guys. We're now back where we
What's
should be.
all this about coin shaving?
You haven't heard of coin shaving?
No, I didn't even know they grew hair.
Well, you take a coin and you carefully shave off some of the gold, which you can then melt down and sell. Easy
Okay.
money.
I
problem with
think
that?
I see a problem with that.
Yeah?
Well, I didn't think there was any gold in Ankh-Morpork dollars.
Well, there isn't. And not anymore. We kind of shaved them too much.
So what do you use the coin shaving room for?
We keep the kettle there. It sets off the new decor superbly.
That's why you redecorated it?
No, we used to keep the old kettle there, only all the wallpaper fell down.
Because of the steam. Guild policy.
I don't understand. Why is it guild policy not to discuss the murder?
Well, as you probably know, we formed the guild to stop the dreadful habit of visiting heroes robbing all the fat merchants.
It's a fair thing.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
Ah, yonder lies a fat merchant, they cry, using that special landlord a flagon of your finest ale hero. Let
I like
us
this
relieve
guy.
him of some of his ill-gotten gains. Pon my scalliard. Next thing you know, they've robbed you blind. That's the thanks you get for years of service.
Years of service carefully mixing sand in the sugar and switching the number plates of the donkey carts.
Hey, that's a very stilted view. What about all the other top-quality bargains we offer?
Ah, yes. All those once-in-a-lifetime, never-to-be-repeated, absolutely didn't fall off the back of a cart offers?
Exactly. Plus, we keep the economy of the city running.
By giving small sums to the less smelly beggars?
Annually, yes.
You were telling me about guild policy.
Ah, yes. Anyway, it was decided that it would be the Merchants Guild's policy to fully further the aims of its members, advertise the civic charms of Ankh-Morpork, and beat 7 kinds of hair out of anyone with a leather loincloth.
Advertise the civic charms of Ankh-Morpork?
Are you saying you don't like Ankh-Morpork?
Oh, no. Absolutely not. I heard what you guys did to Castroaster.
Damn straight. He got tired real quick.
This doesn't explain why you can't discuss the murder with me.
Well, the Merchants Guild is supposed to be the shining beacon that shows the rest of the world how unsurpassably wonderful Ankh-Morpork is.
By
Yeah.
robbing them blind?
Oi! Watch it.
Sorry. Continue.
Anyway, the point is, it's bad publicity if we're seen to have a murder in our ranks.
Couldn't you sell it as a tourist attraction?
What?
You know, come to Ankh-Morpork, site of the infamous counterweight killings.
Show some respect. A merchant lies dead, struck down in his prime.
So do half a dozen other people.
True, but they weren't merchants.
Civic charms.
So how exactly do you go about advertising the civic charms of Ankh-Morpork?
We pursue those misguided people who publicly fail to recognize the many attractive points of this fine city.
Pursue?
Okay.
Yes, we hire large gangs of men with ears like fists and fists like walnuts to point out that Ankh-Morpork is in fact a marvellously clean and decent city in which to live. A process whose ongoing nature might be swiftly curtailed if they don't shut up right now.
I suspect they see sense.
Oh yes, even if their eyes are a bit swollen.
Ouch. Okay, let's ask you some questions. Merchant's
About
murder.
this merchant that was killed.
Sorry, I'm not allowed to discuss the incident with outsiders. A guild policy.
It wouldn't hurt to tell me the broad details, would it?
It would hurt a lot. They'd throw me off the roof.
No one's going to know.
I'd know about hitting the ground.
Is it really that important to you?
The Merchants Guild takes its policies very seriously.
So it seemed. I had to find a way to exploit that.
Wizard's murder?
Do you know anything about the murder of the reader of esoteric occultism?
I can't help you there.
Clark's murder.
Do you know anything about the murder of one of the patrician's clerks?
I can't help you there.
Not getting very far, are we? Counterweight killings.
Have you heard about the counterweight killings?
Who hasn't? It's the talk of the town. A gruesome serial killer in our own backyard.
Ankh-Morpork, where major political events are never talked about, but grisly murders are discussed over the dinner table.
Hey, if it isn't local news, I'm not interested.
Oh, of course. 10,000 killed in a pogrom in Omnia is irrelevant. But Ankh-Morpork man stubs toe on the Magdalen Bridge. Oh, that's news.
Someone stubbed their toe on the Magdalen Bridge?
Oh,
Never
dear.
mind.
Don't suppose there's anything else I can talk to you about. I suppose this one.
There's talk of a bestial attacker loose in Ankh-Morpork. I was wondering if it might have killed that merchant.
Wonder away. But I'm not discussing the incident with you.
Damn.
Jasper Horse?
Do you know a troll by the name of Jasper Horst?
Well, no one I know.
Okay, not getting very far here.
Do you know anything about Reagan's murder?
I can't help you there.
Guess not. Okay, that one's cleared out. This guy?
What do you know about the murder of Mount Malachite?
I can't help you there.
Really not getting very far.
Can you think of any reason that Mundy might have been hung upside down before he was killed?
I can't help you there.
Really not getting very far. Okay. Well, bye for now. I'm sure we'll be back.
Well, goodbye for now.
I didn't get very far. I don't know, maybe... Let's go up here. Maybe there's somebody up here. Let's go and talk to Samel. I think I need a drink after that one. Come on, go into the cafe. Maybe Samel knows something about these murders. It's a long shot, but you never know. At least he'd be clearing out possibilities, even if he doesn't know. Hello, Samel.
Samael, Mr. Luton.
Notebook. Talkie. Counterweight killings.
You hear a lot of talk around here, Samael. Have you heard anything about The counterweight killings? Oh yeah, I've heard the talk. It's making the customers nervous. What do they say? Just rumors. You know how rumors spread. Well, let me know if you hear anything that has the ring of truth to it.
About the Clark's
Have you
murder?
heard about the murder of one of the patrician's clerks? Sure thing. I was interviewed by the Watch about it. You? Why? He was the clerk in charge of the palace stores. He was the one who bought the wine for the palace.
Okay.
Really?
You know something about
So
it.
do you know anything about the murder? No. Sorry. But there should be someone here from the palace any moment now to collect the next shipment. You could ask them. I guess I could. But I doubt they'd tell me anything.
Do you know anything about the wizard's murder?
Do you know anything about the murder up at Unseen University? No. Sorry. Don't you get wizards in here? You're just around the corner from the university. No, we don't get wizards here. The wizards prefer the mended drum and other noisy establishments. What about the other staff? Well, some of the other staff do call in every now and then. I guess the closest to a regular would be Cassandra, but she's not working there at the moment. At the moment? She quits her job occasionally, but she always goes back. The university pays her a good wage for what she does. Which is? Mainly laundry and a bit of dusting. If the pay's good, why does she keep quitting? She doesn't get on with a head chambermaid up at the new hall. Why? Mrs. Foams has a bad reputation as someone to work with.
Rankin mentioned her. Merchant's murder.
I heard that a merchant was murdered. You wouldn't know anything about it, would you, Samael? A merchant? I think you better ask at a less reputable establishment. I could get into trouble suggesting that something was up in the Merchants Guild. Why? The cafe is part of the Merchants' Charter. The Merchants' Charter? It just means that if we're found to have caused any bad publicity for the city or the guild, they send someone round to smash the windows. Doesn't that cause bad publicity? I'd rather not pursue that interesting point.
Okay, got something out of him anyway. Bye-bye.
Thanks again, Samael. No problem, Mr. Luden.
So, there's nobody here at the moment. Said someone was coming to collect the wine. I wonder if he's down in the cellar. Go. And is he in the cellar? Nope. He's not there. Maybe he is in the cellar. Nobody here. Ooh, wine barrels.
Most of the wine barrels in the Café Ankh cellar had been brought into Ankh-Morpork on the Milka.
Okay. Could I get into one of them? Oh, I can! Hey, cutscene, now we're moving.
I had a long wait, but it paid off.
Hey! I'm somewhere. Where am I? Somewhere dark. Oh, cool! I'm in a larder. Alright, so we've
The
got
wine
barrels.
barrels had allowed me to break into the palace. It
I'm in the
didn't
palace.
speak too highly of the palace's security, but I wasn't complaining. There really wasn't anything useful I could do with the barrels.
Okay, got boxes over here.
The storeroom was filled with boxes of food and supplies. I guess even the patrician had to eat every now and then. I couldn't think of anything useful to do with the boxes.
Okay, let's try scanning the place. Scan.
The scent of red wine wasn't as strong as in the cellar, but it was still noticeable.
Okay. Oh, look,
My
magenta.
killer
Yeah.
had definitely been here.
Cool. Back to human. Okay, let's go outside. Ooh, very swish. Very nice. This must be the palace. There's a door there.
I guess they didn't have an open door policy. Locked.
Okay, next one.
I guess they didn't have an open door policy. The door was locked. I thought I could make out voices, but I couldn't hear what they were saying.
Interesting. I wonder. Let's back you up here a bit so I don't press the wrong button. Stairs. Ooh, that's good. Door.
There were people talking behind the door.
I can hear what they're saying.
Oh, it's a terrible state. I don't know how he puts up with it. Oh, I know, dear, I know. Just because the
dear.
prisoners don't mean they shouldn't keep their rooms clean. It's shocking. Absolutely shocking. And those ones that are chained up, they're the worst. They think because they get special treatment, they don't have to tidy up. Nobody thinks of us cleaners, do they, dear? Perish the thought.
All in all, it wasn't the most useful conversation I could have overheard.
What about this one?
Silence. Perhaps I should try a different door.
Okay, let's go back to human. We can go around the corner. Let's see what's around the corner. More doors. Door there. You get in there?
I guess they didn't have an open door policy. The door was locked. I thought I could make out voices, but I couldn't hear what they were saying.
Okay, let's go back to werewolf. Oh, look, there's a Navy Centre.
The only noticeable scent in the hallway was someone's trail which led to the double doors.
I think that's Vimes, if I remember rightly. Vimes is here. Door.
I could hear what I could only assume was some of the patricians' clerks talking.
I do wish people would bear in mind how much paperwork everything is for us.
I know just what you mean. Have you seen file LEW-006/EXW? First, he steals a crowbar.
And that's a T-1712 form straight away.
Exactly.
No respect for the patricians, spies and clerks. That's the trouble with this city.
Oh, the crowbar's only the start, believe me. I've got 2 counts of murder.
Ha,
Hold
that's
on.
an FO86B just to get the list of forms you need.
Are they
Tell
talking
me
about me?
about it. And as if that wasn't enough, he's only gone and died.
Yeah, I think they are
Not
talking
another
about me.
D2317E. I hate those.
Worse, a D66/004B.
Another murder? Oh, I haven't finished the paperwork from Cypher's death yet.
Oh, hello.
Still, I have to look on the bright side.
What's that then?
At least he hasn't come back from the grave.
Oh, I know what you mean. Those undead citizenship forms are the worst.
No consideration. That's the trouble. No consideration of us hard-working bureaucrats.
The clerks soon returned to their paperwork.
Well, at least we know his name now, Cypher. About this guy. Double doors.
The double doors were more stately than the others leading from the hall. I reckoned that it led to the oblong office, the patrician's personal sanctum.
Cool, let's have a
As a
listen.
wolf, my hearing was dramatically improved. I could recognize one of the voices as Commander Vimes, and the other voice had the calculating tones of Lord Vetinari, the patrician of Ankh-Morpork.
Are you any closer to a solution for our mutual problem?
No, sir. I've been occupied.
Indeed. And what could occupy you?
There was a string of copycat killings. I've been trying to solve them.
And have you?
No, my lead suspect was killed.
That is very unfortunate.
It certainly was for Luton.
So there has been no progress in
I really
determining
don't
who
like
killed
Vimes in this
Cypher.
story.
Not as such.
I had been given to understand that this was precisely the situation you were well equipped to handle.
I will solve this case, sir. You can count on me.
Do you recall what I said the city reminds me of?
You said it reminds you of a clock, sir.
Indeed. Big wheels and little wheels, all turning at different speeds to keep the machine working. That, after all, is the most important thing. The machine keeps going.
You've told me this before.
Do you know why it keeps working?
Because you want it to keep working?
I'm flattered that you think I have such importance. But no, it keeps running because the people believe it will keep running. Faith is a powerful force.
There is a point to this, sir?
I always have a point. Sometimes it's sharper than others.
Ouch.
I'm sorry. Continue.
One of my clerks has been found face down in a vat of wine, and that makes it appear as if the administration has lost control.
And the administration is me, right?
We are all administration. You do the work, and I take both the credit and the blame. Provided I do not take the blame, I am content. I trust I make myself clear.
Perfectly.
Suddenly, I could smell
Oh,
blood.
what's that? Got a new clue at least, so it's worth it.
It filled up my senses like
Uh-oh.
a night in a forest. Except a night in a forest didn't make me want to tear someone's throat out. I didn't know whether the guard had cut himself or if I was just developing a healthy bloodlust, like any young werewolf. But I couldn't control myself.
Oh dear.
The next thing I knew,
Okay,
I was
I'm back
in
in
my
the
office.
office.
I had no idea how I got there, how I got my coat out of the palace, or where I'd got a traffic cone from. It had been that sort of night. I was sitting at my desk, thinking over the case, when there was a knock at the door.
I understand
Oh, it's
you've been
Salachi.
a busy boy, Luton.
It's a busy life when you're a private investigator. Plus, you get to see interesting foreign places and learn a trade.
There was a commotion at the palace last night.
There was a bit.
Perhaps you know about it?
Nope, don't know anything.
What goes on at the palace has nothing to do with me.
Indeed, it is not. And if, for some reason, you did take an interest in the palace, I'm sure you would not be so foolish as to be caught breaking into the palace.
Of course not. Think I'm suicidal?
Strange you should say that. I heard you'd been killed.
I expect you hear a lot of things that aren't true. I bet someone has to explain them to you using very small words.
Ooh,
The
he's
thing is,
big.
the intruder at the palace appears to have been a werewolf.
There's a lot of that around this time of year, I understand. Must be the moon.
I paid my respects to your grave.
Oh, that was nice of you.
It was empty.
Oh, you know how it is. I get claustrophobic in narrow spaces.
So do werewolves, perhaps?
I wouldn't know about that.
Remember when I said how disappointed I was that I couldn't take you out for free?
Oh, that was a very touching sentiment.
Well, Lord Vetinari has generously offered to pay for the inhumation of last night's intruder.
He has a big heart.
It's a shame no one can find it.
Was there a point to your visit?
I was just passing through. Thought you might benefit from my advice.
How generous of you.
Well, I'll be on my way.
The door's behind you. I can explain how to use it if you want.
Ouch.
Watch your steps, Luton. I will be.